everybody. Welcome in. Happy Monday evening to all of you. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving weekend. We can get used to this, man. For the fourth straight Texans Collective, we have got a victory to talk about here. The Texans have gone from 3-5 to 7-5, still sitting on the outside of the playoffs looking in, but things are really looking up. The playoff percentage is getting more and more robust by the week. We've got a lot to dig into from yesterday's win over the Colts. A lot of good, a lot of questionable to get into. This is exactly what this format was made for, and we appreciate you tuning in with us here on YouTube tonight. Remember to give us a like, give us a subscribe, tell a friend. We appreciate all of that. I'm Sean Pendergast, one half of Payne and Pendergast Mornings on Sports Radio 610. Of course, to my right is Landry Locker of The Locker Room with Landry Locker and SNL with Cody and Landry. Reggie Atatula in the loop, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays on Sports Radio 610. And of course, Cody Stutes, Houston football, Cody Stutes, and SNL as well. Gentlemen, it's great to be with you guys as usual on Monday night here. This was, I don't think, a game that probably 5 or 6 weeks ago people were counting on as a victory, but things started to look better and better as the weeks went on, and the Texans defense showed up in a big way once again, holding the Colts for the first time this season under 20 points. We'll get into that, but I think probably as we look at the topics there along the side of the screen, the big topic for this one, especially because I think he played pretty well, was the return of C.J. Stroud. So let's start there. C.J. Stroud, 22 of 35 for 276 yards. He did throw that one pick, but I thought he put some good drives together. I thought overall, if I had to give it a letter grade, it's probably a solid B for me. But let's start there. What are your guys' thoughts on the return of C.J. Stroud? And if this is what we're getting from C.J. Stroud, alongside this defense, what's the potential for this team over the last 5 games of the season?
I gave it a solid B+. I don't think they win this game with Davis Mills. I thought CJ did a good job, specifically on third down. I think one of the things that we talk about with CJ Stroud is not getting too high, not getting too low. The 2 best drives of the game, one of them with referee assistance. Not like nobody's going to dispute that, at least not here. They came after, it appeared that the Colts had momentum. One of them, he throws the interception, the Colts score, he responds immediately, and then after the Colts tie it up, he leads the offense on another scoring drive. So I would give it a solid B+ as far as what the Texans can do. Look, I think right now the Texans, to quote Dennis Green, I did this on SNL earlier today, Reaction Monday, they are who we thought they would be, and that's where they're at right now. They're competing near the AFC, the mid to top of the AFC. They're in the division mix. And quite frankly, I think the teams around them have actually gotten worse. This is the least impressive AFC that I've seen. It's most competitive, but it's the least impressive, to the point where I think the team, if you ask me, if you put all the teams in the hunt up and you said, which team do you want to see the least? It's the one they're facing Sunday. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And the Texans have a chance. And we knew that this would be the case in some way, shape, or form. You got to beat the Chiefs. You got to end their season in order to get it done. They get a chance to do that right now, and it's a hobbled Chiefs team. So things are looking good for the Texans right now, and I thought C.J. Stroud did a hell of a job in his return, about as good as I possibly expected him to play, given how long it had been and given the fact that there are still some handcuffs that come with being the quarterback of the Texans.
We'll talk about an opportunity to exercise demons that next week. But before we get there, yeah, I don't know about you guys. Post-game, CJ sounded like a dude who, even more than at any point during this year, is embracing what they're asking him to do. It felt like coming into this game, I was like, is CJ's natural desire to go deep influencing the way that they're going about this? Because it felt like it kind of, they took some shots deep and they weren't particularly good ones. And then as the game settled in, he really did get to the place where it's like, hey, man, don't mess nothing up. Continue to operate within the flow of things, and things will go pretty well. And when he was throwing behind or less than 10 air yards, he was really good. And then he found his spots. And I think there's been a lot of questions about what can CJ do that Daniel Jones can't, or not Daniel Jones, rather. Davis Mills is who I was thinking of. Just all white guys look alike apparently over here. But Davis Mills can't. How about booting out with Latu bearing down on him, making a throw right on the dot to Cade Stover to pick up a first down? Like, how about those types of moments? Those are the things that were fantastic to see with him, on top of operating the offense pretty well outside of weird operational things early on in the game. But like, once he settled in, very clearly what they wanted from CJ in this offense. And if he can continue doing that, the recipe is all there for you,
to take what the defense gives you that they talk about so often. It was there, and he started taking it more and more and more. And as Reggie mentioned, not as many deep shots and certainly not as many connections on deep shots. One of his lower yards per attempt in a win in recent memory, lowest since Miami last year, when they just didn't need to throw a lot of deep stuff on Miami to beat them. And the interception was awful. I mean, he shouldn't have thrown that. That was terrible. That was one of the worst plays of the day. And even J.J. Watt was crushing him for a couple of pretty well-protected pockets that he moved out of. But the O-line protected basically at the same level that they protected Davis Mills. And Reggie, to your point, there were a couple plays that C.J. Stroud made that only a handful of guys are capable of making across the NFL, and Davis Mills is one of them. So I love to see that as well. And the biggest thing for me is there's so much that they could build on and do way better coming out of this, and certainly Stroud being one of them. There's so many things he can specifically do and be better coming out of this one with some of the accuracy, some of the operational stuff that he's in charge of. And that's the exciting part is like, hey, if this is the worst game he plays in his return from the concussion, the Texans are going to be in a great spot.
They're in business if that's the case. Well, and you guys were at D'Amico's press conference today. That was one of the things he said. One of his first answers, I think, was, what was your takeaway after rewatching it? And he volunteered that. He's like, man, we left a lot of meat on the bone. We left a lot of stuff out there. We could have played a whole lot better. I liked hearing him say that. Landry, I'm with you. I think the thing that jumped out to me most about CJ was the resiliency in game. Shrugging off the interception, Colts go down and get the touchdown to Pierce, and then he engineers a touchdown drive to go retake the lead. The Colts come down there in the second half and get the touchdown to Tyler Warren. He engineers a touchdown drive. Granted, one that needed help from the officials, but the Texans over the course of this season, if they'd been given that help back the last several weeks to where that drive kept going, it would still end in a field goal most of the time, so that they got it down into the red zone, and then they executed a really well drawn up play with that Nico Collins end around there. I really like. So I like the resiliency in directly responding to those touchdowns, because I think there's been times during the season when they were getting off to 0-3 and 2-4 and 3-5, and they'd go down and focus on CJ on the sidelines, that there was a lot of body language issues. There was him by himself sitting at the end of the bench on the iPad. So it looked like sulking, it may not have been, but it like CJ carries himself in a way where I think he allows his mannerisms to be read into sometimes like that. He hasn't seemed like the most resilient guy throughout the course of this season. So I like seeing that. He's 10-4 in the division now since coming into the NFL. He's 4-1 against Indianapolis, and he's 3-0 at Lucas Oil Field. The Texans have taken everything that the Colts did to them for the first 15 years that they were in the league and have completely flipped it on its head now. Now Lucas Oil Field it's not an intimidating atmosphere at all for the Texans. It took them 13 years, I think, to finally win there when they got into the league. The Texans are the ones now with the franchise quarterback. They're not grab bagging like the Colts are right now. The Colts had Manning and Luck for all those years. And Nico Collins has basically ripped out the soul of T.Y. Hilton and put it into his own chest and said, fuck you. You can take your 91 yards a game and shove it up your ass. I'm going to get 137 yards a game as long as 7 is my quarterback.
I mean, you don't even have to go as long as 7 as his quarterback. I was looking at it. Yards per reception. It's when it comes to the 31 teams that he's played against in the league, the 7 games against the Colts, something like 19 yards per reception, which is the third highest in his career. I think the only one's higher against the Steelers, which they've only played once, and the Bills, which they played twice. 7 games of giving you 20 yards every time I catch the football is some mean shit, man.
Yep. I like it.
Yeah, and the other thing about this game is I think the ceiling of the Colts is dead too. And I'm not. I mean, it's if Daniel Jones has a cracked fibula, it's a wrap. Like it's not. They can limp their way into the playoffs, no pun intended. They can hobble their way into the playoffs, but Daniel Jones without mobility, it's not anything. It's basically Brock Osweiler at this point. So that's the other thing that I think is significant about this is that given the news about the fibula, now you have Sauce Gardner with the lower body. Like they're not the same team that they were early in the season, and this thought that, there's some, I mean, I don't know how Daniel Jones is going to be playing the final game of the season at this point. Like, I just, I don't know how that lasts. So that's the other part. There's not like some high ceiling team in Indianapolis that you're competing with. And that was one of the bigger developments of last week. I told Cody, and I said on SNL, I was the only one who picked the Colts last week. If I'd have known that Daniel Jones had a cracked fibula, I would have picked the Texans, which I did. Like I did. I said, okay, well, that's kind of some big news. So, but there you go. So you pick the Texans now. So that's the other thing, is that this team that was playing really a historic start on offense, that's dead. That's gone. So that's the other thing that's kind of going in the Texans' way. Especially
because first and third downs, those are the places where they exceeded. First downs get themselves into a manageable situations. Third downs, those are dead. 3 of 10 in this game, which honestly felt better than what I expected coming in. Obviously, they had a couple of big plays, like the Downs pass, that corner over there to Josh Downs. Outside of that, there was no eating, and you can't extend these drives if you're not going to be good on third down. Also, can we ask ourselves, what the hell is with Shane Steichen and not running this damn football with this dude?
Well, Tim Settle said after the game, he was like, yeah, they did us some favors. He was like, yeah, if that's what they wanted to do, okay, thank you. But that's another story on itself. Maybe he doesn't think he can run it. I will say this. The 49ers were scared to run the ball with Christian McCaffrey too. So maybe there's just a lot of respect for how the Texans stop running backs. But yeah, I'm with you, especially given what we previously said. It was absolutely shocking. And for me, the most telling play of the game, I know it got interesting after, but the most telling moment of the game was where Indianapolis, I know this drives Sean nuts. He hates this in any situation. They decide to receive. they elect to receive, which is basically you're trying to send some sort of message and you're good to go. Well, 3 and out. And one of those plays was a screen to Tyler Warren, where if you would have told me that DeMeco Ryans had Shane Steichen speaking in his headset, I would have believed you, because they knew exactly where that was going and they had no chance there. So I thought that was kind of a tone setter as well.
Yeah, they've done it. You always put the worst unit on the field, and quarterback coming off of basically a month away from football with an already bad offense, that's the worst unit on the field. You should have put that unit out there first, not the best defensive unit in football if you're Shane Steichen. A couple super chats here. Gentleman DeRhino weighs in and says, we've been better since CJ shouts out Jesus again.
I'm glad you picked that one.
Not just CJ.
I was laughing my ass off.
Not just CJ. DeMeco has been real big on making sure that he shouts out his Lord and Savior Jesus Christ at the top of every. Like, I feel like they found Jesus in a real way to get this team going.
Okay, we need to go back and check this, though. We need to go back and check this, because DeMeco does it in the post-game press conference, and maybe I've only started to notice it lately. They've won the last 4, so I happen to have noticed it during the last 4. Was he doing it after games when the Texans lost? Does DeMeco only thank his Lord and Savior after wins? That's what I need to go. I need someone. We need a Texans Collective intern.
I think the answer is yes, but
he does. Well, I'm sure in his mind he does, but did he give Jesus proper credit at the press conference?
I feel like he did, especially because I felt like I noticed it, because in my brain I was like, is he kind of covering for the people that are coming after CJ? Because it felt like people were getting after CJ when CJ was not going as well early on in the year, saying he needs to stop doing all this Jesus and getting his playbook or whatever. It felt like at that point, all of a sudden DeMeco had taken a newfound effort to make sure that Jesus was front and center. So I don't know. I feel like this was before they started getting.
I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back and do the research tonight, I think, just for my own edification. Yeah, not as a topic on the Texans Collective.
There you go. Logan Taylor asked, do you think 4.5-point underdogs is disrespectful for the Texans? And I'm assuming Kansas City. Is that the line, Sean? You're the.
It was. It opened at 4. It went down to 3.5.
Yeah,
I'll look right now and see. I'll look right now and see
3.5.
What it is.
3.5.
Yeah. I 4.5. Sir, my suggestion would be to find a different book. If you're gonna, unless you're gonna bet the Texans, then stick with that. Actually, if you're gonna bet the Texans, let us know where you're getting 4.5. That's what I would say.
I think it's appropriate. I think that's an appropriate line, given that, the extra rest, the desperation, all that. I would say that
outdoors.
Yeah, the time and place.
Sunday night football.
One more.
All these field goals might not be as tenable in this game.
No.
Well, one more.
Weather. Anything below 60, Fairbairn hates. He bundles up. So yeah.
Well, there's something he doesn't like about Lucas Oil too. So
that one's through, buddy.
I don't know what you're talking about. It
Yeah,
went right
okay.
through the uprights.
Count
Yeah.
it.
okay, sure. One more. McAfee dropped a few GDs on the show today. You could tell that visibly that CJ didn't like it. Yeah, he's back on his God stuff. So
Okay. Well, I watched that interview today on McAfee.
you disagree?
Well, it looked like CJ was having fun during the interview. Maybe I'm a little desensitized to the GDs, and I wasn't even.
Yeah,
you
Sean.
know.
The under on the first Sean F-bomb hit tonight. So that was,
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I'm a little desensitized to it, so I wasn't really paying close attention. But CJ looked like he was having fun. I mean, McAfee was just stroking him the whole time, like, you're a franchise quarterback. You're a franchise quarterback. Like the whole time, like he does what McAfee does, man. Like
Yeah.
he's kissing up to his guests.
of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
it's a good interview though.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So CJ, thumbs up on CJ. All right. Let's do the let's not ignore in victory what we would address in defeat and some of the decisions that D'Amico Ryans made in this game. We've touched on them a little bit already because they are decisions of either aggression or lack thereof when it comes to managing the game. D'Amico, we can dig into the specifics here in a second. I will say this. My concern that D'Amico Ryans' game management is going to cost the Texans against a significantly better team, or against I don't know if there's any teams that are way better than the Texans, but against a better team on the road in the playoffs at a bad time. He has had a D- season managing the game, replay reviews, consistency of decision making, recognizing whether or not you're actually aggressive or conservative, all of those things. My concern level is that whatever the highest can be, that this is going to cost the Texans at some point in a more significant game than a banged up Daniel Jones in week 13 kind of game.
Well, I think we've been talking about this, at least I have, going back to San Francisco. I thought that the end of first half was damn near cost you 3 points when you were in control of the game. And then the Tennessee game, they decide not to be aggressive. This was the worst of all. And I wonder if it's a Caley thing or if it is a D'Amico thing, because the way that D'Amico spoke on it, it almost feels like it might be his philosophy. But to me, whenever you just specifically focusing on the end of the first half of this game, which JJ Watt was disgusted with, by the way.
Yep.
But to me, I've always thought that the first play determines how you attack, especially when you have two timeouts. And I actually thought they had a perfect first play, the slant to Dalton Schultz for 10 plus yards. To snap the ball 41 seconds after that play and then to throw a swing pass, and maybe Woody Marks was out of bounds, but they said that he wasn't, which is fine. And then to snap it 21 seconds after that, you've already killed a minute and 2 of the minute and 50 that you had. And that's after you got a 10 plus yard play on the first down. You also have 2 timeouts in your pocket. So I think it's disgraceful the way that they handled that. And they're very fortunate that it didn't cost them, not a game later on. They're very fortunate that it didn't cost them this game, Sean. And that's really the issue that I had was in that instance, you got to go get some points. You got to figure out what the hell's going on and try to get a little bit greedy. And it's been a problem, and it doesn't seem like there's any philosophy. It doesn't seem like there's any method, and I don't know how it gets better.
Yeah, that's the thing is, I know D'Amico was kind of asked about the when you're down 8, what do you do, that kind of thing with 2-point conversions, and he kind of sidestepped giving an answer, and that's frustrating for me because I think that's the issue. It's not that he's conservative. It's that there's not a consistent answer. If he was conservative, that'd be a little bit better. And when you ask, is this the D'Amico thing or is this the Caley thing? I think that the play calling and the way that this has gone indicates that this is a just not having a plan thing. I feel like you many a times where we've gotten into these circumstances where it's like, all right, red light is flashing. This is game management time. I don't know. And to be fair, I don't matter here, but I do wonder if they know. What is our philosophy? What are we trying to get done here? because yes, the way that they went about this felt like some of the play calling was like, all right, are they trying to get here? Or okay, they're playing this for a field goal. All right, cool. They don't even get that off, right? All of this feels really weird in that there's not a direct plan of attack, it feels like. And someone on the text or on the messages here made a point that it felt like this got slightly better when he handed off defensive play calling duties, but we slid back. And that's the thing that's most concerning, is that it feels like there's not a plan of action. I do wonder also, though, with that time ticking off, how much of that is Nick Caley and his capability getting into play? Because at times I wonder, can he get 2 plays in at a time? Like, or is this one of those things where the play happens, he has to go through and look at what's happening? I thought you asked a really good question, Landry, about in that similar vein for him when it came to like quick change and having a shuffle. I think that this is something that I am watching for a first-time play caller. Like, how quickly can you get in plays if we did want to go? Because I do think that there's instances where they go tempo, but it's rarely 3 plays in a row. It's usually like one real quick instance, and it feels like that is something that they know ahead of time. There's a lot of times where I'm like, even if this idea was, hey, we're going 2 minutes, we're trying to get up, we're trying to go, is he capable of executing that? Is a question I have, and I don't have a good answer to it.
And the other thing to add to that is we got a visual of what a good play caller does. Say what you want about Shane Steichen, he's a pretty good play caller. After you get an interception on the first play of a drive, we saw it. CJ Stroud threw an interception on the first play. Immediately they got aggressive. Like they immediately got aggressive. They were ready to go, and they attacked. Indy did after the Stroud interception. And I'm with you. I want to ask Nick Caley this question to where there's not really an out. So I'm thinking like the emphasis is going to be, is 41 seconds between a snap ideal in that situation? Instead of just giving him like lobbing it on a softball to where he can bullshit and say, well, the goal is always to get points, blah, blah, blah. I think the right way to ask it is 41 and 21 seconds after a long gain on the first play. Is that part of the process of executing there? So I'm trying to figure out the right way to ask it to where he doesn't have an out, but it's a frustrating thing, because I do think you have, look, if this were Davis Mills and the offense was a little bit handcuffed, or you had like, I would understand, but I mean, you got some guys that can make some plays. You can go out there, you can get a field goal. You got a kicker who can kick 50+ yard field goals. It's indoors. Like that's the maddening thing about the whole way and that they function in the process and all that.
Yeah, they just had such horrible gas pedal brake, hand brake at the end of the first half. It's miserable to watch.
Terrible in the transmission.
And that wasn't even the most questionable decision he made, deciding to allow Nick Caley to put the tight end under center on 4th down late in the game, and
twice
not taking 3 points is baffling to me. It's like, I understand you're a trust the defense guy. Hey, how about you trust them with a 7-point lead where if someone falls down, you don't lose the damn football game.
He's an aggressive guy, Cody. Come on. That's what he said.
He's aggressive and he's not. Like, that's the point. There's no philosophy on it.
There's no consistency.
There's a weird desire. I feel like D'Amico called the Stover play, though. I mean,
he said he did.
He said he did today at the press conference.
So that makes me wonder, okay, well, do I owe Nick Caley an apology for Seattle for running it behind Laken Tomlinson's ass, who's inactive, by the way, twice now? Yeah. Do I owe him an apology? Did D'Amico just say, run the same damn thing and let's go get it? Like, is D'Amico Ryans a guy who loses $100 on blackjack and then just doubles down and keeps trying? Like, that kind of makes me wonder, do I owe Nick Caley an apology? I'm being serious, like, because it's mind-boggling that I like the Stover thing at first. I didn't know it was going to be your bread and butter. Like maybe I owe Nick Caley an apology, and maybe D'Amico Ryans is telling him, hey, run it again. Like that's what he said today. He said he called it. So
that whole sequence is just, it almost cost them the football game, because they decide to run the Stover play, whatever. It worked twice before. When it doesn't work on 3rd down, you get Kaime's ass out there and you go up 7, because at that point the Colts have to drive down the field, score a touchdown, and if they want to beat you in regulation, they then have to score a 2-point conversion.
Same thing that happened against the Titans. Like it's literally what happened against the Titans, where if you didn't have a 7-point lead against the Titans, like you would have been in a different spot, although you did kick the field goal at the end.
But then he decides to go for it, which again I'm totally against, and I don't feel is very defensible at all. But he decides to go for it, and says that he told the offensive coordinator to run the same play because he thought they got the third down.
Well, then challenge it.
What? Like, even if you decide to go for it, don't run the Stover shove again right after when the Colts
Stover.
The Colts were very ready for it.
I think this is what D'Amico, like, I do think, I know it was 3rd and 1 and then 4th and 1. I think what he saw, because this is the truth, is it was 3rd and a long one.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 3rd and 1.5. And Stover did pick up ground, literally like the line of scrimmage moved, but it didn't move in the box score. You know what I mean? Like they did get a push, but it was like 3rd and 1.5, and they got it down to 4th and under a yard. And I think that's what D'Amico saw. Like, well, we got to push. My feeling was I wouldn't have done it on that. When they went up to the line of scrimmage ready to do that, I'm like, they're not going to get, that's not a yard. That's 1.5 yards. That was a long yard to me. I felt, especially since they'd used it twice already. So Indianapolis had seen it. They probably had a chance to make an adjustment for it. Which obviously they, whatever they did worked because they got off the field on 4th down. So that's where I was a little incredulous. I was just as incredulous that they were using it on 3rd down because I didn't think that was a push for a guy who's not Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
I thought that was a little long to use it.
Here's the thing that's just weird is that there've been 2 times where they've struggled where they've run the same play on short yardage. 3 times now that they've run the same play consecutively on short yardage and failed to convert. There's 3 plays. You know what the 3 plays are? Number 1 is a British Brooks halfback dive.
Recall that.
He's barely touched the ball. Number 2 is Laken Tomlinson was rotating the week before. Actually, Laken Tomlinson was a backup the week before against one of the best defenses in the league. We're going to run right behind Laken Tomlinson 2 times. That's the other one. And the next one was we have a tight end who's been inactive for a while. He's also been playing offense for 3 years. He was a D end at Ohio State. And we are going to run the tush push with him 2 consecutive times. What in the hell is that? That's kind of crazy when you think about it that way.
I'll be the defense attorney. All right. They actually, of any game that we've seen this year, they were actually getting a decent amount of push on that offensive line, particularly on that play. As Sean has just mentioned, they got actually a pretty good push the first time that they run it. And I will say, and maybe this is just a little bit of personal guilt, and I'll own this if this is what it is. I have been calling for D'Amico to be a little bit more aggressive, which made me laugh when he said that he's an aggressive head coach. And I was like, I kind of like the aggression of, hey, it feels like this offensive line is doing something. Let me put a little bit of a battery in my boys' back. Let them go and get this. They just lost. They just lost on the down. But I think you're right? Like that, it's fair. It's fair to make the point that like clearly the situation would have put you in a place where that 3 points would have been useful. I kind of like the opportunity to be aggressive, but again, it doesn't help at all because it's not consistent. So I don't know how I can hold on to that.
They also were trying to get a first down, which would have put them in the red zone, where they would have still had to have gone and scored a touchdown in the red zone, which I don't know if anybody's watched this team all year long, is sometimes like watching a monkey do astrophysicist stuff.
I don't know. I saw them score twice in the red zone yesterday.
Yeah. Getting that very man that you mentioned, Stover and Ariante Ursary out on the perimeter running and
boom. Yeah, getting them out on the left.
Woo. Yeah. So did you guys happen to watch the first drive where they had like 9 plays in the red zone?
Yeah, they made adjustments, you asshole. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm the asshole because the Texans can't score in the red zone. Yeah.
That's right.
It's me.
That's right. I've often said that. I will say, right, because again, I'm not going to fight you guys too much on the Cade Stover, Bull Stover, tush push, sneak, whatever. It does. The question that I have asked myself is, y'all think that this has been in the playbook, or is this something that they have like adapted later on? And do y'all think there are curveballs that are off of this? Because now that this is on tape, I think teams look at this and go, hey, this is a thing that you can pull out there. And I do wonder if there's an opportunity to zig where everybody expects you to zag when you line this up and maybe have like a toss or something.
Well, Indy tried it, and Tyler Warren was actually a quarterback in high school, and Penn State did a lot of the stuff with him. So it's a little bit different when they do that. And even they kind of screwed it up. Seattle does it too. They have their tight end.
AJ Barner.
Yeah, AJ Barner. They do it with him. So it does happen. I don't know if it's a one-off or not, but they definitely love it.
Well, it's game plan offense, Reggie. So, if that's in the game plan next week, then maybe they'll use it. But if it's not,
Say that.
then
I had forgotten about that somehow.
also, I'm not doing any tosses with Cade Stover out of the under center. Like, get out of here.
How incompetent do you think he is? He can't handle a toss?
But,
A toss.
Come on. What are we doing here?
A
Stop it.
toss?
Reggie, cut it out.
He can't toss the football?
No, don't let him do it. Don't let him do it. And I have to assume the only reason they're doing this is because they don't want CJ to get a concussion. Because they were QB sneaking earlier this year.
They were at the behest of Landry. Landry's the
That's
one that
right.
got them. Landry's the one that got them back on sugar.
Was Cade already on IR at that point, though?
Yeah.
He's
He's been on IR
definitely
since
IR.
after the first game. Yeah.
I see
right,
on the chat, someone brought up the QB sneaks. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, someone in the super chat. So
Yeah.
Landry complains every week when no QB sneak. Now he's upset about it.
That's not a QB sneak, bro.
That's not a QB sneak.
That's a tight end. Like,
It's essentially the same thing. What are we doing?
No, it's not the same thing.
It's
because
not
when,
the same
when,
thing.
when TJ's back there, that you at least know that he's a quarterback. He's used to taking snaps. He's used to kind of filling out the offensive line, and he's also somewhat of a threat to maybe throw the ball. So, like when Cade Stover goes back there, you know what's going on. So that's not the same. Come on, don't be crazy.
When that formation comes up and that dude is halfway up the center's behind, and he got two dudes on either butt cheek, we gonna pretend like there's something else that's happening there?
It could. I mean, it's at least someone who knows how to take a snap. Like, come on, let's
He ain't fumbling no snaps.
Well,
I think Landry's point is that it's called QB sneak because the QB is the one executing it, not the
Right.
TE. Not the
and
TE sneak.
they don't the telegraphing of the run plays sometimes bothers the shit out of me from this team.
Yeah.
And that it was a clear telegraph. At least with CJ, they don't have everything hobbled into a little box that's, 2.5 linemen wide, where everybody's got to get ready for
They're
that.
a tough football team. And if you can't get a yard, then you don't deserve to play football, Cody.
Yeah, sure. That's great, D'Amico. Thank you.
Displacement.
Hardo.
I like Jake Andrews. He's a nice guy. I think he answers some pretty tough questions about the offensive line. Jake Andrews is not built to just shove people out of the way on Stover sneaks or Stroud sneaks or whatever else. So I don't know how long you can keep doing this.
Hey,
And if DeForest Buckner was there, they would have got 0 of them.
And just for the record, I thought I made this clear enough. I think I said this 6 weeks ago, but I'm just making this very clear. When in doubt, kick the field goal on 4th and 1. Like I've praised them for making that decision. So just so we know, like there's nothing. Like anytime you can take a lead or tie a football game when you're the Houston Texans of this year on 4th and 1, kick the field goal. I've made that very clear.
Well,
So, there you
especially
go.
when you've got 55 minutes of data that tells you this is how this game is being played right now. The Colts have not been scoring on you by and large in that game. Like the Colts have had their troubles in that game, and a 7-point lead in that game, feels like a 2-score lead the way your defense is playing. Do you guys think, you mentioned Jake Andrews? Do you think that they test drove the Will Anderson lining up over center play in practice on Jake Andrews, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this is definitely going to work"? Look,
Jake Andrews is still alive, so no. You saw what he did to old boy over there. I love that, by the way. That sequence,
I do too.
The play before, they have Henry To'oTo'o blitz up the middle, and it's a good amount of pressure, but he doesn't get home, and they're like, you know what? Run it again. This time we will see what happens. But I do love this as a progression for him. Like, let's move him around the formation, right? I immediately thought of Micah Parsons doing that. Myles Garrett doing that. Like, I kind of love this is, we can get him all over the formation and terrorize AT. Because what was it? Was it Barner or was it Autry off of the right side? Then you have Daniil on the other, and then Will up the middle. Goodness gracious, that's terrifying.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. We had somebody text, and we'll get to the defense here in a second. We'll talk about prize picks in a second too. But we had somebody text the show like a week ago. I may have brought it up on the Collective last week. Somebody texted our show on 610 and said, "Is Will Anderson what the Texans envisioned they were getting when they drafted Clowney back in 2014?" And my answer would be yes, and then some. Especially when you factor in all the extra that comes with Will to the good. all the leadership and everything else. But they used to do that when they ran that play, they ran that formation on Sunday. I'm like, they used to do that with Clowney, and it worked great when they would line Clowney up over a nose tackle. That was some of the best shit they did with Clowney.
And Clowney bitched about it relentlessly because the guards were too strong and there wasn't enough room.
Yeah,
he's like, yeah, they're a lot stronger than the tackles, and there's not as much room to work with.
Again, that's where the road diverges in the woods with Clowney. And I love Clowney's a great dude or whatever, but like Will is never going to complain about anything
or whatever really hurts your sentiment there.
Yeah,
what's that?
Yeah,
you're like, he's a great dude or whatever. Really hurts the sentiment there.
Did I say that? Okay. I thought I just thought that. I didn't think that.
Whatever.
That.
I need. You got some information for me? What's the whatever?
No. He's a good dude. All right. Before we get to the defense and before we get to what is turning into a really interesting race in the AFC, Cody, let's talk a little Prize Picks.
Yeah, Prize Picks is a very simple, very easy, very fun way to play daily fantasy. You're just taking predictions on stats. You're putting them together. You're putting an entry together. And if you get your predictions correct, you're going to win your entry and then some. And if you get all of them correct, you're going to win even more. Or you don't win anything when you don't get any of them correct like we did last week. Yeah, huh. Everybody took an L on that. Tyler
yeah, but
Warren,
I had fun following all of them. You know what I mean? Like it's giving me that dopamine rush.
Sure. So it's just more or less on various different pieces of statistical outputs, and you put them all together, and next thing you know, you've got an entry, and you make the games even more fun. They have it for basketball. They have it for hockey. They have it for baseball when it comes back, and of course, they have it for football. We've still got plenty of weeks to do it. When you get signed up, use our code Texans. You're going to play your first 5, you get $50 headed your way. And then on the community page of this channel, we will put our entry for the week later this week, as we did last week.
So you can just fade it.
Yeah, so you can follow along or you can fade us.
We will do better because we can't do worse.
I'm knocking everything over. I apologize.
He keeps dropping shit. Is
Me?
that you, Reggie?
I'm just frustrated about picking Dalton Schultz less like an idiot, not understanding that CJ was going to come back and get his ball to his homeboy. You know what I mean? Like I should have used my brain.
Yeah, that would have made us 1 for 4. So Texans is the code. Play your first 5, get $50 in bonus entries headed your way. You don't even have to win that first one. And if you follow us, you didn't win the first one. The code is Texans when you get signed up at Prize Picks.
The 50 was still there.
The 50 was there.
Still there.
You lost the 5, but the 50 was there.
It was there.
Yeah.
All right. Let's dig in on this defense. We've touched on it a little bit. For the first time all season, the Indianapolis Colts were held to under 20 points. Now, I don't know if this will be the last time, though. This is a Colts team that, Daniel Jones, they got nice weapons, actually. I mean, Tyler Warren has been he's had a nice rookie season. Jonathan Taylor is maybe the front runner for Offensive Player of the Year right now. And I really like their wide receiver. I don't love them, but I like them. They got a lot of good weapons. But Daniel Jones with that fibula injury is going to be problematic against that schedule going, the rest of the year. And we're going to see them again in Week 18. But I don't want to diminish what the Texans did. It was a good defensive performance. The thing that impressed me the most is it felt like a not dominant, but a really good defensive performance. They held him to 16, forced no turnovers, and only had 1 sack on the day, and still had a performance that had a lot of the talking heads talking about the Texans again this morning, about a team that nobody wants to face down the stretch or in the playoffs.
Yeah, I thought it was another elite defensive performance. There were times where it felt like they knew what the play was on Indianapolis. There were other times where guys just completely made plays. I don't know if they changed the way that they played that kind of impacts the sacks. Also, Daniel Jones getting rid of the ball quickly, obviously, because he can't move. But anytime you keep Jonathan Taylor and Tyler Warren in check the way they did, it's an A+ effort by the defense. I also like the new wrinkle that they've added. It appears they're using Kamari Laster a little more in the box, and they're blitzing a little bit more with him, and he's an absolute dog in there. So it's good to see that even though the defense is good, you're kind of still seeing new the Will Anderson sack also. Like you're seeing new wrinkles added to this defense to where they're not just getting complacent and they're not just pleased. So as far as the defense, the Texans are where they are because of the defense, and this was yet another good effort, whether Daniel Jones was on one leg or not.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about no turnovers, very little, like no sacks, the ball was getting out quick. I think it was the third fastest time to throw the Colts had in this week, and even with that, pretty good pressure rate, at least per next gen stats. I know that varies depending on what service you look at. It's workman at this point. Like, that's the thing that's beautiful about this, is that it is a consistent. You know that they're going to apply pressure. You know that you're going to force the other team into some circumstances where they're not able to do a lot. And even if they're able to attack downfield a little bit, they're not going to be able to do it consistently. And third downs are going to be hell for your opponent. And like, this is the superpower. Like, Landry's used this word often. We've all talked about it. This is a consistent, even when you got a mark on your team. That's the only thing I'm looking at with this defense. Like, I have room to nitpick and let my anxiety roam, because I know that they're that damn good. And right now, my anxiety is, hey, number 25, you are the mark right now. Like, the teams are looking over at Miles Bryant like, ooh, that's the only thing that I go, oh, Jalen Reed missing a significant amount of time. What do they do there? Do they turn back to Jalen Mills? Like, do they move things around? But even with that, I think that they can roll out Miles Bryant out there and still feel good. Like, that's how good this team has been, is that you can have a dude who teams might look at as the mark and be like, no, it's cool. We'll be all right.
I was worried that the results they had against the 49ers was more about Mac Jones and the shaky 49ers offensive line, because Kittle did not dominate them, and I didn't feel like they really had a guy to slow down Kittle, and McCaffrey did not have a big day. And when you know it, they were able to replicate that. Warren did not dominate them, and Jonathan Taylor did not have a big day. I mean, there were, I think, 14 of his 21 rushes that went for 3 yards or less in that game. That's a great performance by the front seven, and Kamari Lassiter and some of the safeties to come in there to help as well, to keep him from making things easier for the Colts on those early downs and forcing one-legged Daniel Jones to go out there and try to make some plays. I mean, Stingley just continues to do what he does, which is just shut down guys and make quarterbacks afraid to throw the football at him. And yeah, there's a hiccup here and there. Like, Downs has a big play, and they got the pass interference on Bullock, which was a BS call. It wasn't a pass interference. Should have been a holding, but wasn't a pass interference. And they have like a hiccup here or there, but outside of that, they're so dependable, and you can count on them every week. And it's going to travel well to road games. It's going to travel no matter the weather, and it's going to travel well should they make the playoffs and make a deep run.
I think getting Jalen Petrie back was a big deal too in this game. He had some plays. He had a couple pass breakups.
The guardian was made for him, by the way.
Yes.
It looks weird on some people. Guardian cap was made for Jalen Petrie. That's his perfect accessory.
Yeah, I asked him, but he was our guest on the post-game show, and I asked him about that. I'm like, is it temporary or is it going to be permanent? And he wasn't sure. He said he had a long talk with his family about it, actually, about wearing that. So I thought that was,
they want him to wear it.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's kind of what he was saying. So you're absolutely right
about it not looking cool. Like, hey, listen, you can't embarrass our last name by looking that not cool.
Yeah, Jalen's like, I really want to do this. And his family's like, no, you look like an idiot. No, stop it.
Didn't he, son?
But I think getting him back, like I said, a couple pass breakups, just watching him, the way when he comes up to the line of scrimmage and he's going to come in screaming off the edge. I thought he had some nice plays in the backfield. He was part of that. He was certainly a part of that, holding Jonathan Taylor to all those at or just ahead or behind the line of scrimmage runs that he had. So I thought getting Petrie back is big, especially now you're down another guy with Jalen. I can't believe like Jalen Reed, a 6th-round guy who wasn't even active until like week 10, is a guy. I mean, that's kind of where we're at with the safety position now. With Jimmy Ward doesn't seem to be coming back. CJ Gardner-Johnson is actually making plays on the Bears now. You lost MJ Stewart, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, cool. Jalen Reed, this rookie, we can slide him in here and he does okay. And then he has some sort of arm injury now. So that safety spot opposite Kalen Bullock is cursed right now.
Some sort of arm injury. Broke a metal plate in his arm that was that he had placed in his arm from a previous surgery.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay, I hadn't seen that. All right.
Yeah.
Well, what did I say that was wrong? It's some sort of arm injury.
That is technically correct.
No, you're not factually wrong. It just, you made it sound like, I don't know, like he fractured an elbow or something. Like he's got a metal plate breaking his arm.
Okay. Guy's tough as nails. What do you want me to say?
That's right.
I just hadn't seen the news.
His
So
bones
anyways.
are tougher than metal. Damn it!
I know. So that was good. And yeah, Stingley, like this. I may I might have to camp out in front of the PFF headquarters when it comes to Stingley's PFF score compared to what the next gen stats say about him. I know nobody else cares about the PFF stuff, and I'm only joking. But like I watched Stingley, or more appropriately, I don't watch Stingley these last couple games. I'm in the third quarter going, is Stingley even out there? Like I haven't heard his name, and yeah, he's out there and he's completely shutting down one side of the field for the Texans. I just don't get it. Like I go to PFF and I look and it's like Derek Stingley, 68th out of 106 cornerbacks.
He's got an island. He's got an island. And he's had a few kind of rough plays. And I wonder if it's just like he's had fewer plays and then the rough plays way heavier in their grading. But I feel like your grading should account for the idea that there's just not very many plays happening over there because they're afraid of him and he's the boogeyman. Like I feel like that should account somewhere. But hey, we know what we see and we'll let those grades be what they are. Does anybody want to do the thing? Like, so we're not seeing Jimmy Ward, right? Like this is just not going to happen this year. Right?
No, I've seen him. I mean, I've laid eyes on him a couple times. I mean, he's there, but I don't think he's going to play. There was actually an interesting nug that Stutz brought up that was from none other than Texans Cap. I'll let you present it, Cody, but this might make sense as to why Jimmy Ward, we might not see him. So you can lay it out, Stutz.
Yeah. So Cap was explaining that if a player in the final year of his contract, he doesn't get activated from that injured list that Ward's on, the contract tolls for another year. So you get him for a whole nother year.
Ooh, okay.
So I thought that was a pretty interesting little nugget from Texans Cap. And if I was the Texans, I would just let Jimmy Ward go. I would just say thank you and have a nice life. But I could certainly see them wanting to get 7 to 10 plays out of him next year.
D'Amico likes him. D'Amico really likes him.
Yeah. Nobody in D'Amico's football life has been through as much with him than Jimmy Ward. Like it's a fact. Like San Francisco, 3 position changes. D'Amico goes from quality control to defensive coordinator. Jimmy Ward goes from safety to nickel. D'Amico goes to Houston, promises Jimmy he's going to be a safety. Jimmy comes here, he's a safety. He's kind of one of the culture guys. Then Jimmy goes back to nickel during desperate times. So those guys have been multiple destinations, multiple job titles, and multiple positions. So yeah, to say he likes Jimmy Ward is an understatement. The other thing is, I think Jimmy Ward's a really good football player. Like I think he's a good, serviceable veteran backup football player. At one point, he was one of the best nickels in the league. And do I think that do I want Jimmy Ward as my starting safety? No, I think it'd be ideal for perhaps Jalen Reed to beat him out next year and him just be a reserve guy. But you can do a lot worse when it comes to being a football player than Jimmy Ward, although he is getting old and he has had a lot of surgeries.
I was just wondering if this in any way was like an organizational kind of like morality thing at some point where they go, hey, yeah, no criminal things, but there's that kind of civil thing, and we're just going to let that lie for a little bit.
Hell no, D'Amico believed him.
They stood by him. They stood by him big time. On that, like 100% big time.
So we're not taking Tyrann Mathieu up on his offer to come back out of retirement.
You're like the 10th person to bring that up. Like I didn't serious, and now you're bringing it up. Like what? Was he serious?
There's no way he's serious about this.
The Honey Badger's a weird guy. He's been here a couple of times. He's a very strange guy, but
is Tashawn Gibson available?
Oh, let's play. Are we playing name a former safety? I like this.
Yeah. Glover Quinn still lives here. Like,
he's here all the time. Great dude.
Yeah, he's the man.
DJ Swearinger.
Oh, yes.
Swag.
Yes. Let's do that.
Couple quick super chats here, Sean.
Yeah, go ahead.
Christopher says it's going to be funny when Texans versus Patriots in the Super Bowl. Christopher corrected himself and said AFC Championship game. He understands they cannot meet in the Super Bowl.
It would be cooler if they could meet in the Super Bowl, though. That'd be cool.
He had a little bit of a brain fart, but yeah. So
just Roger Goodell swaggering in like Vince McMahon, shifting things around.
I mean, look, I'll sign up for a Patriots AFC Championship game for the Texans right now. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
And then Houston Misfortune would like to update us on another pseudo Patriots tie. John Carroll University got the job done Saturday.
Oh,
Fuck yeah.
35-6, moving on to round 3 of the D3 NCAA playoffs. For those interested, hashtag go Blue
When would
Streak.
the championship?
Yeah.
They might not have a coaching staff. They might be on the sidelines.
yeah, looking for their next quality controls coach, right? Like that's how that works, right? You just
Yeah.
So we appreciate
Download the
it.
Prize
Super
Picks
chat.
app so you can get down on that D3 football, baby.
John
You know
Carroll.
things about D3.
Threaten me with a good time if you can do that.
Okay, so it's funny that the chat person in the chat said Texans versus Patriots in the Super Bowl because, and we know they can't meet in the Super Bowl, but
not with that attitude.
the the AFC right now is extremely gettable. The 4 quarterbacks who were the consensus top 4 quarterbacks in the sport at the beginning of the year are all teetering right now to some degree. Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes are out of the postseason. Lamar Jackson is only in the postseason right now because he plays in the shittiest division. And Josh Allen, if they'd lost to the Steelers, would have been out of the postseason this week as well because they'd have been tied with the Texans, and the Texans have the head-to-head. So you take the elite quarterbacks that are all in situations that are anywhere from dire to at least somewhat uneven. And this is the thing to me, guys, that makes the AFC, that makes me feel like, God, the Texans just got to get in the dance this year. If you're the 7 seed in the AFC right now, the season ended today and you're the 7 seed, you are going to Denver, or I'm sorry, you're going to, who's ahead? Denver's
ahead right now.
So
with
you
tie
go,
break.
so you go to New England to face Drake May, who's never played in a playoff game.
No left
And
tackle. No left tackle.
And no left. Yeah, right. Injuries all along the offensive line. They got super banged up. And then if you win that game, which is a winnable, I don't care who the 7 seed is, among these teams that are murking around in the playoff picture, any of them can beat the Patriots. You win that game, you go to Denver to face Bo Nix, who's never won a playoff game. He's 0-1 in the playoffs in his career. And the 3rd seed is Trevor Lawrence, who stinks. So it is a
no additional information. Trevor Lawrence
that's
stinks,
it, man.
period.
He stinks. So we can go down the rabbit hole. We've only got like 8 minutes left. I need more time than that to lay it all out. You know, that's the AFC that we're living in right now. You know, like the other playoff teams are Daniel Jones and Justin Herbert, and you know, I'm trying to think of, you know, who else is in the mix in there, whatever. But like the Steelers are still lurking around with old ass Aaron Rodgers. Like it is. If you can get in with this defense, there's a shot, man. Even if it's as a wild card, there's a shot.
There's 2 superpowers, I think, in the playoff mix. And I know superpower is my word. It's just my buzzword because I think it's a superpower is something that can will you in the playoffs. Yeah. The Texans defense is one, and Patrick Mahomes is the other. You can eliminate one of those superpowers this Sunday.
Yes.
That's it. Some would say Denver's defense, when you have that honky corner getting picked on the way that he is, that can't be a superpower.
Okay. Hey, don't be throwing slurs at my boy now.
Well, this just escalated.
I'm throwing slurs at my boy now.
Let's be serious. Chasing Seahorn is what I call him because he's always chasing the receivers. He stinks. There are two superpowers in this mix, and it's Patrick Mahomes and it's the Texans, and they can eliminate one.
Yeah,
I'm still laughing at Chase and Seahorn.
It's good, but I hate it. It hurts me.
It's elite.
I'm still laughing at the strategic use of the word honky.
Yeah, man.
That's it.
I thought we gave that one up about 2 decades ago.
Sore thumbs. Let's be serious. Like what? That it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Well, that's because he's white, and because y'all not letting enough of these white boys play cornerback like that. Anyways, I don't have time for this. This is what makes this Chiefs game really interesting to me, though, because you mentioned going to the Patriots, going to the Broncos. I feel like I don't need them to win this game because clearly it's not necessary for the Texans to get into the dance. I will say this is interesting qualitatively to get a feel for how do you play in December, in the cold, outdoors, because there's a couple of opportunities for this to happen. Like this is a stress test on the offense, and how can you answer the call? We know that you can do this in the dome. We know that you can do that. That's cool to some extent. Can you do the complementary football thing in the adverse circumstances, which I think this will give you a little bit of insight to.
Yeah. This AFC picture is just, I mean, you get into this thing, one of your better outcomes happens. Like if you're sitting there and all of a sudden you're the 3 seed because you won the AFC South, like you might be looking around thinking, damn, we might be able to host the AFC Championship game if things break the right way. If you end up as the 5 seed and you get whatever dregs and nastiness and ugliness wins the AFC North, like you might be sitting there thinking, all right, we got the easiest go on the road matchup of anybody because Lamar's a shell of himself and, Aaron Rodgers is the other quarterback. So it's like you're in a really good spot if you can just handle a lot of your business here down the stretch. And there's a lot of, outside of Kansas City, handleable games.
Here's an either or for you. Would you rather be a wild card team and head on the road to face either Drake May or Bo Nix or Trevor Lawrence? Or would you rather get a home game, but you're facing Patrick Mahomes in the wild card round?
I'm going on the road.
Give me the road.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's an interesting, it's counterintuitive in a way, right? Like I got to win the division, you got to get a home game, blah blah blah. The fact that Burrow and Burrow to a lesser degree, the Burrow's avenue to the playoffs is if the AFC North collapses and they win out. But Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, like there's a better than decent chance that at least one, if not both of those guys are. What I think the Steelers suck, but the Ravens ain't all that right now either. You could catch them in a home game because those are wild card teams, but those are, when they're healthy, 2 of the 5 best players in football. It's a crazy dynamic right now that Denver and New England are so far. Or Josh Allen you could catch in a home. I'm less afraid of him at NRG Stadium because of the body of work, but it's a crazy time right now where, God, you look at the teams that are at the top of this heap right now, and it feels almost better to be a wild card team early on, at least, than winning the division and possibly getting one of these goats, as a wild card team.
100%. And Lamar looks broken. Like I think he's obviously very hurt. Like it's blatantly obvious. I don't think he's ever played this bad, honestly. So Lamar's broken. Patrick Mahomes, I don't know why. I just it would be nice to keep them out of the playoffs. Like this is a playoff game. I also think it's a mojo game. I think if regardless of their offensive line and what they are, and maybe the arrows pointing down, I think if you're a young player and you've walked off the field at Arrowhead, like the Texans have at the end of last season, and you win this, I think it can be a vibe game, and it can be one of those things. Not even mentioning the fact that if you win this game, I don't know what your playoff percentages are. Reggie, you might have the numbers. I don't know. They got to be.
It's like over 80. It's like over 80 at that point.
Your playoff, like you got to be in the 80s. You're automatically in the picture because Jacksonville plays Indy this week.
Yeah.
And Baltimore and Pittsburgh have 2 matchups remaining too. So you have like everyone's getting pushed out of the way, but I think as far as vibes, as far as the conversation we just had, which we all agreed on, it's just a big opportunity, and it's so exciting, man. Like I'm not trying to be too corny or anything, but it's just so exciting to get to Sunday Night Football, Chiefs, the dynasty. You have a chance to end the dynasty. It's a place where you've had trouble, all of the star power, all that type of stuff. Mike Tirico, Chris Collins, like all that. It's just really, really exciting to be to a point where the Texans are in the mix. It's obviously better when they win, and you get to watch them on the biggest stage. I think it's the best production that the NFL has, and you get to watch them against the biggest names and the most polarizing team in the league. It's just a fun ass time right now.
You would go from currently sitting at 59% chance of making the playoffs per the Athletics playoff simulator to an 85% chance of making the playoffs by beating the Chiefs. And mind you, that serves with a 38% chance of winning your division if you win that football game, at least per the Athletic simulator.
Yeah, one of the nerd spreadsheets said that the most likely playoff spot for the Texans after yesterday's outcome was 3rd, and I was like, okay, sign me up for them being the 3rd seed.
Yeah,
like that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So the nerds love this time of year. They love their numbers.
Absolutely. You know who is behind the Texans on Sunday night as well? America. America. They are America's team this week. There's nobody outside of Kansas City that wants to see their ass in the postseason, let alone in the AFC title game or the Super Bowl again. Nobody wants to see them in the postseason. Mahomes is a cornball, and nobody wants to, yeah, you heard me. He's corny as hell.
Now,
Yes.
easy now. Easy now.
He's corny as hell. He bothers me. So there's that. That may just be me, but I know that most of America does not want the Chiefs in the postseason.
What about
and the Texans have a chance to take the stake and jam it into their heart on national television.
Kelsey's worse. Kelsey bothers me a lot.
Kelsey's bad too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Sean Landry, you'll get this. Reggie, I have no idea of your history of knowledge of this, but somebody else has pushed the Chiefs into the grave in a buried alive match. It is now up to you to grab one of those shovels and just continue to throw the dirt on it and finish this off.
Have y'all gone through? Have Figgy and John showed you like the Travis Kelce code switch yet?
Oh, I haven't seen that specifically, but I'm familiar. Like we could just take it from.
No. They have the audio. Ask them tomorrow. No. It's more extreme than you'll ever hear in your life. There's like one where he's talking to the white trainer, and then he's talking to Dwayne Poe and all that. Yeah. Have them. They probably still got it.
Yeah. I mean, if I hate to say that I know enough about this, but you could just look at his taste in ladies, and that has been very indicative.
Just ask for the Kelce with the trainer, and then the Kelce on the field, and yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I feel like I need to find a separate Kansas City Chief to beef with, because you got Pat. You got Kelce. Like, who do I go to?
I got Josh Simmons, but
yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I feel like Xavier Worthy, Rashi Rice out here racing cars, being weird like that. That might
Harrison Butker.
Oh wow, that is actually the answer. Good job, way to nail that. I hate that guy.
Rasheed Rice is really good though.
He is.
Yeah, he is good.
He is. He just.
I
wonder how smart he is at times. That's all.
How about Hollywood Brown?
His name is Marquise. I'm sorry. I'm not. Just because Gus Johnson wanted to say something fun, something cute on Big Noon Saturday, don't mean that your name is Hollywood now. Your name is Marquise.
No.
He's not worthy of the Hollywood, huh?
No, he's not, and he never has been. Honestly.
No, he's like Riverside Brown. He's not Hollywood. He's like one of those. Well, the Inland Empire Brown. Yeah, he's not Hollywood.
At best, he's La Brea Brown. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. He's just San Bernardino Brown.
He's Wichita Brown.
Wichita. Yeah, exactly. Hey, by the way, this would also be circle of life, because you could argue that the very team the Texans are trying to kill, they actually gave rise to back in the 2019 postseason with that.
Yeah, thanks, Bill.
Coughing up that 24-0 lead. No, I'm merely pointing out the soap opera part of this whole thing here.
So you're just trying to close the portal that you
That's it,
opened.
man. Yeah. Like, we gave rise to this evil empire that is the Kansas City Chiefs. It's only right that we vanquish it. We, meaning the Houston Texans, vanquish it.
Congrats to Bill O'Brien and the BC Eagles getting their second win of the season over the weekend.
That was over Syracuse.
Yeah.
Coming off a 70-7 loss. Yes.
Yeah.
Brown.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, it's almost time for Monday Night Football. This was a whole lot of fun. These get more and more fun the more and more they win. So I'm praying for a fun one next Monday.
Oh, it's going to be fun no matter what next Monday.
That's true. Good point. Yeah, it's going
to be fun no matter what next Monday.
Yep, no question about it. All right, so we are done. We are out of time.
Spoiler alert: we will hear Sean talking about I was on post game till 1, and then
am I a complainer?
And now I'm here with you. No, I'm just kidding.
Nah, man, I don't know. You know that.
We might get the timestamp though of when post game ended. We might get the timestamp.
Possibly, I could see that, but only as a fact needed to convey a thought, not as a complaint. It's.
I was up at 2:45 this morning because I'd done the post game.
That's right. I'll be ready to go. All right, boys, that was a whole lot of fun. Of course, you can get Landry Locker. Landry, are you on later on tonight?
10:30, baby. Post-week outlook, in depth about where the Texans stand. We do that every Monday.
All right, 10:30. You can catch Landry on the Locker Room on YouTube. Reggie Atatuli, you can catch him 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. middays on Sports Radio 610. Cody, when can the folks next catch you?
Just find the channel and you'll be able to catch the grades from Landry Locker on Houston football tomorrow morning. So plenty of good stuff coming your way.
There you go. And SNL at what, 4 o'clock on YouTube as well. Do a fantastic job, all you guys. You can catch me 6 a.m. tomorrow. I mean, I'm probably going to be going to bed at like 1:30, so I don't know how I'm going to feel because I got to watch this Monday Night Football game, and there's a Rockets game.
You're going to watch this game?
Yeah. I mean, I got Drake May on a fantasy team, and I'm sure I'll find 3 or 4 ways to play Prize Picks.
There you go.
Texans, yeah.
Over under on the Rockets.
It's going to be a lot because they're playing the Jazz again.
Don't
worry about it, man. Don't worry about it.
It's like 233, I think.
It's 234.5.
Look at that.
And the spread is 11.5. I got it right here. Yeah.
So would you pick the over on that? Is that what you're saying? Night 2?
Hell yeah.
I feel confident in that. But my confidence is not helping all of these Prize Picks.
They're playing at elevation. It's always higher scores at elevation. That's, I don't know.
All I know is that 7 and 5 is good for the hoes, man.
That's it, man. That's it. All right. Way to close it out, Reggie. All right. We're done. We're out of time. Until next Monday, enjoy the week. Let's get a dub on Sunday night. We'll see y'all next week. Cody, end stream.